tell me the story of how Zion Nation came to be. Like, what was the moment you both looked at each other and was like, actually, we're actually going to do this? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember it was shortly after I did my first shoot for a project which I had initially started on. So it all started off with a brand which I called Gentry Gums.
Entry Gums.
Yeah, that's a while ago. I think most likely 2023.
Yeah, I think literally, I think yeah, Gentry Gums. I think we started that back in 2023. Did a few shoots of that, and then
So that I shouted Eli to basically help out with the photography, and I basically designed a lot of pieces. The whole idea of the designs really came from me originally trying to write my own manga. Well, it's actually a comic which I want to get animated, but my whole game plan was to basically just do a lot of panels, draw panels, and then get them onto like t-shirts. Then I spoke to a friend. He was like, "You should do a brand." So then that's when I shouted Eli. Started working on Gentry Gums, and then we thought the name sounded a bit. It just didn't fit like our brand, what we were trying to obviously go for. And one of the pieces I designed within Gentry Gums was called Zion Nation, and
yeah,
yeah,
it was the Zion Nation piece. Yeah, that I was like, bro, Zion Nation. I'll be real. This name is hard. This name is cold, and yeah, we ended up switching the names.
What was it about Zion Nation that like was like that is the code name?
Well, if you know anything about like Zion, or if you know anything about like the Matrix, there's like Zion where they're outside of like the Matrix, which is separate to why we even made it anyway. Because like there's the Rastafarian culture in Zion where it's like where you're supposed to try and get to as a people with like enlightenment and peace, and that was just really cool. And then nation, like having those two things put together as like the Zion being the meaning and nation being the goal. Whereas like everything that we try and embody within Zion, within ourselves, within the clothing, within the brand, we want to try and express outwardly and try and get like a community, try and build like a nation of people that are like-minded.
And you both had different creative like pursuits before this, right? Because
Yeah.
Timmy used to do like designing and stuff like that.
yeah. What was more of like just like character designs and drawing comics, and like basically like I said before, I was trying to write a story, or I'm still writing the story, and from there I started teaching myself a bit of graphic design as well. I did a lot of like freelance work on projects for people on the side, and I was just pretty much just making a bit of money on the side doing that. And I think that's when I started to think to myself, like, I want to design clothes that, I mean, I want to wear clothes that I've designed. Because on top of it as well, it was like going back to the name, um, the whole concept of design was basically a reference to like obviously, you know, during the slave trade when a lot of Africans were obviously trying to obviously escape from not captives, but like slave traders, and they looked at Zion as like in a way as a form of like escape. And I like that whole concept of the idea of the word escape basically being something which I can use as a metaphor to describe my creative outlet while I work full time and basically just, you know, do the normal 9 to 5, because it's nice to do something on the side and not be too kind of like, I guess,
Like focused on just like work, like you have this outlet here.
basically.
I want to get deep into that spirituality, but like let's just slowly ease. That's what I'm saying because like Zion Nation, I'm hearing Babylon, I'm hearing all of these things, the heavy topics that I think like the audience are gonna want to like slowly go into. But I want to talk about the split roles for a second. You know, like you both had different creatives and you came together to make this brand.
Yeah.
What was your role? What was your role, and how did you develop in that role?
Well, T's always been doing like graphic design and obviously working on his comics and just being good at designing anyway. So it would always make sense that he was the designer. When it came down to it, I was just like, I think it's called
Visual storyteller.
yeah, visual storyteller. No, but I'm basically like the DJ Khaled. Bro will come to me with a design, yeah, that looks certain, and I'll be like, bro, I think you should just move that one piece down, that, or change this color, or just maybe change that one font, and that would literally be all I do for designs. When it comes to designs, that's all, bro. I probably do like 10%, 5 even. But on the shooting side, the creative side of filming, videography, photography, the video edits, like things like marketing, that's my side. So we delegated the roles between what we would make sense, what we're stronger at. He's naturally better at being the creative when it comes to designing things. I already have experience in shooting, modeling, videography. So literally just worked, just gelled very well.
Let's stay on that for a second then. Talk to me about like the visual aspect of it. What was your plan going in? What was your vision when you saw Zion Nation?
I'm thinking UK moody, a bit grungy, because I feel like that's the aesthetic. That's kind of the vibe of London. It's a bit moody. We're a bit grungy. Street, urban, skateboarding. Bro does skateboarding. I can't skateboard to save my life, but I've always found it cool. I've always found it cool. I always find the graffiti, the skateboarding, all that whole aesthetic, rock, punk. That's kind of my vibe with it, and that's where my vision with like where it's gonna go creatively within like a visual aspect is what I want to do. So I've even tried to do that within like the forms of like editing I do. I'll try and make it a bit more not polished, but a bit more dirty, if that kind of makes sense. Like that, because like UK, just like London feel.
Yeah.
I don't want it to feel like it's polished, like it's a Netflix.
Yeah.
Like it's like like it's corporate. I don't want it to feel like it's corporate. I don't want to feel like it's like you're gonna go and sit down and watch it on the TV and be like, oh yeah, that was a cool advert. It's like you want to feel like that's something you could just see happening, or it's just something that you'd be a part of.
Yeah. And for you, Timmy, what was your like? Who did you design it for when you make the designs in the clothing? Did you have someone in mind?
Well, I'd definitely say it just really represented a lot of the stuff that my mind pretty much gravitated to. Because as much as I definitely do agree with Eli with the whole urban London aesthetic, it also kind of just represented like my fashion sense and style at the time. So I guess it really reaches out to people within that similar, I guess, demographic and fashion taste. Because before I'd say like, yeah, you know, to the skaters, but when I dress depending on the occasion, but also in just different styles. So for now, it's definitely going to be a lot more urban street skaters. I mean, skaters as well as like I'd say like streetwear kind of market, but I would also like to explore just different kind of like I guess styles as well. Maybe something that not necessarily like too like formal, but like more like a casual and like a different mature audience. Because like I said before, when I first started with Zion Nation, a lot of it was definitely within what Eli was talking about, and it still is. But I've been designing new things, and it's like I feel that as my mind kind of grows older, it's like it just kind of like gets experience and just goes with what.
Yeah, of course. It's like anything, right? The more you kind of do it, it develops into like bigger things than even you thought at the beginning, because you see the opportunities. Maybe you do a drop and you go, actually, I should have done it this way, or like, you know, by getting the feedback, you know, you think something different about the visual. So obviously you guys are in this very like crowded field. I think we both are, you know, podcasting is insanely crowded, and so is streetwear. But when you were going into it, what was your kind of niche? Where did you kind of feel like you fit into what do you have that everyone else doesn't? You know, what were you thinking? How are you trying to get to the idea?
I think, at least for me, and I think even Eli would say this as well, it's just more of like the fun and genuine like love we have for our crafts. Like we're both very passionate in the way how we want to like present our project. So, and it's very easy for you to be like, oh, you're very unique, you do your thing your own way. But because of the visions that we have, I feel that it's just more of like coming up with concepts that kind of seem like it'll be something that can relate to us. Like, I'll give you an example. When I came up with a lot of the designs for the shirts, they were all themed off different things, and I've asked people from like different backgrounds like, oh, what do you think? And everybody's had like such a wide taste of what they kind of prefer. And I think it's the fact that we can just branch out to different types of people, compared to like a lot of brands that kind of tailor their audience to one type of audience. I think it's the fact that we can be very versatile is more of what I think makes us a lot more. Yeah.
And for you, like what? Because what I see from the streetwear kind of world, right, it's like brands like Cortez, like they lead it with like being authentic. They lead it with like, okay, we are the face of the brand. The brand is an extension of who we are. And like, you know, if you fuck with us, you fuck with the brand. You know, that's very different from like our H&Ms and our like all these old brands who are just like just commercial. You know, how do you see Zion Nation fitting into that? Which side do you guys fit on?
I think we fit somewhere in between, because me and T, we model some of the clothing, and we're obviously like we're still actively in like shoots. We'll model and like perform for them, not perform, like be in front of the camera.
I know you mean,
So I feel like there's a mix, because I don't think either one of us really wants to be at a place where it's like, yo guys, Zion Nation, come check it out like every single day. We're not like making it about us because it's not supposed to really be about us. Like, yeah, it can trickle down to us, but Zion Nation is supposed to be something that can still stand for itself. Like, knowing who we are and knowing that we're a part of it is still supposed to be an aspect of it. Be like, yo, all those two who are running the brand in the back of the video, like, and it's like, yeah, we're actually still there. We want to be a part of Drops and be a part of like a community, but it's never about being the face of the brand, because then it's like, if the brand is also an extension of you, it's like, what's bigger, the brand or you? It's like, we want to create something that doesn't just have to rely on both our faces being involved. That's why we also just want to work with like different people, different models, and trying to like actually build a long-standing community between people. Because if we can build that and have people that are like actually genuinely invested in the brand, in the message, and the meaning, then it can last a long time period. It can last long. It could be generational. And I think that's kind of what happens with a lot of like legacy brands like JD, is that they start out maybe with that sort of idea. Well, not JD obviously, because you have to go back, it's a different market. And as time goes by, it becomes its own thing, which then you have to be careful about. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent.
No, I think that's an important tangent too, because I feel like figuring out where your brand fits in a larger ecosystem is so important, especially at the beginning. Because if you don't, then you end up somewhere you don't want to be, and you're kind of pigeonholed into this thing, you know. And then like people like JD, people like, you know, all these, they had done the vision from early on that this is who we want to be, and it kind of like what you say no to is just as important as what you say yes to. Yeah, and I think when you're doing that, it's like very important. Talk to me about like how it is running your own brand, especially as a team. Like, what are some of the difficulties? Like, what does no one tell you about running your own brand?